The Miami Heat just made a massive move, going and getting a great NBA player. We'll break down all of the trade details on this episode of Heat Digest. Remember to subscribe to the channel, as almost 97% of you guys watching this are not subbed, and we are on the road to 500 subscribers over here at Heat Digest. It'd mean a lot to us. Let's get to the news. Let's break down this trade move for the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets, as we just landed Terry Rozier. He was in a bunch of speculation of revolving around the Miami Heat, but nothing seemed very concrete. But last night, we got this news saying the Miami Heat are exploring trades involving Kyle Lowry. We kind of had an idea that this was coming after Kyle Lowry was moved to the bench. He voiced his disapproval of it, and ever since then, and really even before then when he was still in the starting lineup, it really wasn't working for Kyle Lowry and the Miami Heat. The production on the floor wasn't great. Obviously, you have the role model skills and the leadership from Kyle Lowry, but it is not going to help us win games when we statistically need the help from the point guard position. Now, we went out and got Terry Rozier. Shams tweeted this: Miami is nearing a trade to acquire Charlotte's Terry Rozier for a package, sending Kyle Lowry in draft compensation that includes a first-round pick, league sources tell The Athletic. Now, that first-round pick ended up being a 2027 first-round pick, so it is a few years away for the Miami Heat. They were able to give up something not extremely relevant as of 2024, speaking at least. But again, they were able to move a piece in Kyle Lowry that they really needed to get out of there due to the fact that his production was down massively. Overall, it seemed like the morale was kind of down on his end as well. And now we're bringing in a younger Terry Rozier, who really is, he's been there, done that. He's top 10 in all of these categories for the Charlotte Hornets: points, assists, steals, threes, 30-point games, and 40-point games. This is from StatMuse. Terry Rozier is no scrub. He's honestly a very good player, and I know a lot of people have been thinking, like, wow, Miami last season or last offseason was really trying to go get Dame Lillard. They got burnt. They got beat out by other Eastern Conference teams in Milwaukee. And now what are they going to do? Well, here's a comparison of the two. We went out and got this guy for way less than Milwaukee went and got, Damian Lillard. So just take it how you will. 24 points from Terry Rozier to 25 from Dame Lillard. 6.7 assists to Damian Lillard. 6.8 assists. Making 3 threes a game, both sides, both Dame and Terry Rozier, as well as shooting just above 40%. Honestly, higher shooting percentages from Rozier, 46 to 42%, as well as the three-point percentages are higher than Dame's, 35% to 38%. Overall, Miami got a great player here. I don't think it's going to be a big problem for the Miami Heat. I think it's going to be a problem for the rest of the league, as now the Miami Heat have a ball-dominant point guard who really is going to do a great job in not just facilitating the offense, but playing a great role for the Miami Heat. He can score the ball effectively as well as pass and really just carry the ball up and down the floor and get things in the sets and run efficiently. Now, these are his stats. We kind of just went over them. 23 points a game, 4 rebounds, 6.5 assists, while shooting 45.9% from the field. He's been in the league for a while now. He's 29 years old. He's not an old guy yet, thankfully, but he is still a great player, and his contract is probably the biggest part of this. Now, if we look at it, he's on a 4-year deal. He has 2 years remaining. Now, the next 2 years, Miami will be responsible for, both of them being $24 million roughly. I know in 2025, 2026, it says it's partially guaranteed. That contract is for $26 million that year. The partially guaranteed, or the guaranteed portion of the money, is $24 million. So it'll be $24 million for next year and the year following. And then after that, he does become an unrestricted free agent for the Miami Heat. So it's going to be interesting for the Miami Heat, as now they got rid of a piece in Kyle Lowry. Again, he wasn't doing too well, especially as of late. His numbers were declining, his morale was declining, and it just didn't seem like we could really fix what was going on there. He was at the later age of his career. It was a good move on the Miami Heat to get rid of him, and they only had to give up 1 draft pick that is 3 years away. So not a big loss for the Miami Heat, and I think it is a massive win. Again, look at these numbers compared to what most people think, comparing him to, like, some would say the number 1 or number 2 point guard in the world right now in Damian Lillard, playing for a dominant team in the in the Milwaukee Bucks. Said the Chicago Bucks, from the Milwaukee Bucks in Damian Lillard. And again, you have to understand, Dame just got paid, and if Miami wanted to go out and get him when he was leaning towards Milwaukee in that offseason, we were going to have to break the bank. It was going to be a very pricey decision on Miami's part. In this case, $24 million a year for the next 2 years for Miami at least, before he becomes an unrestricted free agent. It's not too bad. There are a few incentives in his deal. They were cut off at the bottom, but if he plays 70 games in 2024, I believe he makes an additional X amount. It's nothing that's going to break the pockets of the Miami Heat, thankfully. But again, the Miami Heat make the first big splash in the NBA trade deadline, before the deadline at least, which is just 16 days away. So it's going to be interesting to see if we make any more moves, if we deal Jovic or Caleb Martin or any of these other pieces before the trade deadline. But they did go out and get their biggest fish in Terry Rozier, as they needed help at the point guard position, as Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler have all really proved that they're not going to be the point guard that we need, the ball dominant point guard that is really facilitating the offense rather than looking to score every time down the floor. Again, Terry Rozier is a great offensive threat, but he's really playing a true point guard position rather than more of a two-guard position at the one. So again, huge win for Miami, huge trade acquired for the Miami Heat. They were able to move assets that weren't too draining of the franchise/organization, and we're able to bring in one very, very good piece without giving up too much. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this trade. Is it a win? Is it a loss? How would you grade it? Do you think that Charlotte did too well? Do you think Miami did the best they could in this sense? Because they could have went into DeJounte Murray, Zach LaVine, all these other big-name options. I think the price tag would have been drastically different if we would have went and tried to make a push at any of those guys. So overall, in my opinion, I think this is a huge win for the Miami Heat. Let me know your opinion down in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode of Heat Digest.